The future may be teal, but the present is pain. This is the Pucknologists. Hello and welcome to the Pucknologists. I am your host for this evening. I am the angry Canadian robot Ian. Joining me tonight is Jules. AJ is on assignment, but he will be back next week. So I want to welcome you all to the Pucknologists. How does the spiel go? It is our unfiltered, uncensored, commercial-free San Jose Sharks podcast, wrapping up the week that was in San Jose Sharks hockey, part of Teal Town, USA. If you do like the thing that we do, please hit that subscribe button. If you want to help us even further, hitting the like button is really easy and helps us a ton. You can also interact with us in the super chat or any chat, mind you. We will obviously listen to all of it, but super chats are obviously appreciated. And if you want to really support us, then you should hit us up on Venmo at Teal Town, USA. That way, YouTube doesn't take their pound of flesh. So yeah, that is, I think, how that spiel goes. I'm going to put the ticker down here. We're doing good. We're off to a good start.
Can the Sharks win a game, please? Ever?
No.
Cute.
Because the Sharks are currently 0-7-2. This week they went 0-3-0.
Great.
They are the NHL's only winless team, and they are the first team in NHL history to lose 9 games back-to-back seasons, beating the 1960-61 and 1961-62 Boston Bruins.
Yay! Love this team. Trust me, California Cruisin'. We will talk about the Cuda. We just first have to address the elephant in the room, which is the San Jose Sharks.
It's true. I mean, I guess we got to start at the start. So that would be against Anaheim, where they lost 3-1. Mackenzie Blackwood started. This is the second straight game with Thompson being in the lineup as a scratch for Mr. Benning. The other scratches were Grundstrom, Giovanni Smith. Obviously, Couture, Vlasic, and Celebrini continue to occupy the team's injury reserve. Power play is 1 for 2. The penalty kill was 4 for 6, and they got outshot 41-28 by the Anaheim Ducks.
Love it.
Where do we start?
The thing is that game they had like a few I didn't think they played horribly. They just took a lot of dumb penalties, and like they had scoring chances. It's just Dostal for some odd reason has the Sharks number, I don't know what is it, but he just has his number, and like Gushin almost had a goal that I think it just bounced off both crossbars. Will Smith just got fully robbed. Yeah. In my opinion, one of those goes in. That game's a total.
Yeah, Gushin's goal got called back because he was offside, or someone was offside. I don't remember if it was Gushin offside but unfortunately, they get that goal taken off the board, and then Troy Terry scores for Anaheim. Good, I think the Ducks had a really good transition game going in this game. They were able to turn things around. Like, this is a fast team, the Anaheim Ducks. I think that they have a ways to go, obviously, but they're a fast team, and I think that they killed the Sharks in transition a ton.
Well, they also just have the players for it. They have Zellweger, they have Leno, they have Lacombe, who one of those is, I think, on the Eagles, on their AHL affiliate, my bad. But you know what I mean? Like, they have those young guys who have stepped in. Now, are they good defensively? The New Jersey Devils are saying otherwise, but you know what I mean? Like, they have those guys who can transition, and the Sharks don't necessarily have that quite yet on their back end.
Right.
And that's the reason, the Ducks are built off really fast transition and getting the puck up.
Yeah. And, I don't know, this game was frustrating because I think that this game, I don't think there's any guaranteed wins in the NHL, obviously, but this was a game where I thought, like, if the Sharks were going to pick up their first win, this was probably where they were going to do it. Now, they'll probably like turn around and then, like, I don't know, they're going to play like
They're gonna beat like who did they beat?
they're going to beat Winnipeg. Like
They're gonna beat
Winnipeg's going to
Winnipeg,
roll into town and they're gonna pound Winnipeg, even though they already got pretty thoroughly thrashed by them earlier in the season. But that's how these things work. Is they're going to beat a team where you're like,
the thing that we say is always the opposite.
You're right.
So AJ in the chat. Yeah, you're right, AJ. The views are up because of me, and I'm joking. Hi, AJ.
Hello, AJ.
No, I mean, like, listen, like this game I thought was their most honestly competitive game out of the three. So like it doesn't really give that much more positive in my opinion. Like this game, I thought they were actually kind of in it. I know they back in one of the other ones in the last night. We'll get there.
Yeah. I mean, this is like this is bad, right? I think, and the problem with the Sharks is kind of like it's crazy how much talking about the Sharks this year feels like talking about the Barracuda last year.
No, it's the same exact story.
It is
like literally, I don't know what their defense is doing. And now, granted, they kind of have a shitty defense. I'm not, like, I love Jake Wallman. I appreciate the Red Wings for it. But like, oh boy, it was like him and Cody Ceci should not be your number one pairing ever on any hockey team. Like, you know what I mean?
What else do you do? I mean,
that's the thing. They have a shitty, like, and you can't put Luca Cagnoni on your number one defenseman right now. Like, you just can't do that to the kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not ready as much as I love Luca, and we'll get to it. But like, they have a bad blue line. And I think the system Warsaw wants to play kind of requires a guy who can move the puck up the ice.
I think Cagnoni could do that. The problem is I just don't want him to get kind of thrown. Like, here's the problem, right? You bring up Luca Cagnoni. Who are you pairing him with?
That's the thing. Like, who are you pairing? Who are you pairing him with? Like,
Cody Ceci. You gonna bring Matt Benning into the lineup and pair him up with him? We're gonna pair him up with Jan Ruda. Oh, I got the best pairing.
Oh no, him and Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Yes.
Oh no, Vlasic's injured.
Oh come on, that was such a fun pairing.
Nope. No, you got to put him with Mario Ferraro. Clearly.
Oh well, it's all right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go off. Hang on.
But this is the problem, right? Like when I look at this blue line, and this is a big thing that I like. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, and this is like this Jan Ruda Mario Ferraro pairing is a complete disaster, and why that continues to be a thing, I don't know. Again, I don't think they have a ton of options as far as like who to pair with who, but like but that pair's a complete gong show.
Yeah, no, they really don't. No, again, like Luca, I mean, I don't know. Like they just don't have good defensemen right now. And like Greer tried, and like I don't want to throw Cagnoni in this fire. It's like the same argument I had last night that I don't want to throw Askarov in this fire. But if they deserve it, like if Cagnoni,
it's hard, right? Yeah, it's hard because
like,
if they deserve the chance to come up, I think.
What are you gonna do? Like,
I just get worried about a guy like Luca Cagnoni because I think I really like Luca Cagnoni. I think Luca Cagnoni is really, really good. I just worry about putting him like pro hockey is a lot different than playing in junior hockey or even the AHL. And I just worry about putting a guy like that in a situation when you have no one to really pair him with.
They don't. And like, I think, and like the guys who they could pair him with are just not ready. You know what I mean? And like when Mook Madulin comes back or is off and he gets healthy, I think him and Mook, because Cags has experience playing the right side. Maybe you give that a try, but like, you're not going to pair him with Ferraro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but do you want him to do you want to throw him to the Wolves in the NHL on his offside?
He's played it several times.
I know.
And like, that's my thing. Like, they just don't have the right D yet to even pair Cagnoni with. Like, you can pair him with Jack Thompson, who we'll get to here in a bit. But like, you know what I mean? And like, the thing is, like Puckeye's saying, like, they could probably help the team. Askarov could probably steal them some games. But like, do you really want to throw them in this fire? Like, it's already bad enough. In my opinion, Will Smith is in this fire right now. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, the problem is like it's hard because again, like you want to shelter some of, like, with the way things are going right now, like you want to shelter some of these kids from it, right? Like I think, and it doesn't mean like just because it's bad now it's going to be bad forever, right? Like
No, like
if the example I always go to in a situation like this is Leon Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl came in and had a really good start to his NHL career, but they still sent him back to junior. Why? Because the Oilers are still a fucking disaster zone.
yeah.
Right.
And
so
like
you shelter him from that, and then they brought him back and he was fine. I just, as much as like I want to see like some wins, because like this, watching this team lose game in and game out sucks, right? And I know eventually we're all going to be talking about the tank, and you know, and not and when I say the tank, I don't mean SAP Center. You know, like we're going to start talking about the tank soon, and you know, it'll be in November and we're getting below tankathon or something fucking stupid like that.
No, we need to start tankathon in like December at this rate.
But you know what I mean? Like it's as much as this sucks,
I also want to address something. The answer is not fire Warsofsky either. Okay, let's just get that straight here. The answer is not fire Warsaw. If you were to say fire McCarthy when the Cuda start, if the Sharks and Cuda start were reversed and people were saying fire McCarthy, I would be all aboard. But firing Warsofsky, you're going to lovingly put, that's how you become the team who just
Buffalo.
I didn't want to call them out, but yeah, Buffalo. You know, then you become Buffalo. Give the like Greer
it's 9
just
games.
Started building. Yeah, and it's also nine fucking games.
Like,
he's the youngest.
What are we gonna do?
NHL.
Well, it's not even that. And like the thing is, like, I understand like some people's issue with Warsofsky, right? Like, I get it. He was a part of last year's coaching staff. So obviously, like, you know, people are like, well, they just brought this guy in from last year's coaching staff. And I get that. Like, I'm completely sympathetic to that argument. But at the same time, it's like, so what are we going to do? Like, after 9, like, and I said this last night on the show, right? It's like, we fire Warsofsky after 9 games. Do we fire the next coach after he loses 9 games? Like, where does it stop? Like, how long do we give a guy to get, because look at coaching, when you bring a new coach in, they bring in new systems, and it takes time to get those systems in place properly and for people to buy in and get that going. Like, I think that if this team still looks this way, and it would still be too soon to fire somebody, but like I think if you're at Thanksgiving and this team still looks the way that it does this past 9 games, I think
then sure we can have
then you can have that conversation. I still think it's too soon to pull the trigger, but I still think like I think at that point, like, I will probably be less neutral on the situation as him, because I'm not like super pro or soft at this point. Like, there's certain things like that, again, like the fact that he hasn't figured out yet that Mario Ferraro and Jan Rutta is an absolutely abysmal
Mario Ferraro
pair.
should be benched at this point. I'm sorry, like, I'm gonna say it, like, he's an alternate. I know he won't be, but like, what are we doing here?
He's the always alternate, man. That guy is captain and everything but name.
No, like, it's like, and I get it. Like, he's a good person in the room, but I'm sorry. There's been a few plays this season, even going back to last season, where I'm like, I think some people in my ball hockey league could do better. Like, what are you doing out there, buddy? Anyway.
Yeah, no. So I mean, like, that's a thing, right? Like, so I mean, there's obviously things that, but I'm like, but I still think like the idea, like, oh man, what are we doing? We gotta fire this guy right away. Like, it's just it's nonsense. I get the frustration, and I don't want to tell people how to feel. But for me, like, I just think it's the idea is completely nonsensical.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right.
Jesus. Anyways, hopefully y'all enjoyed my rant on Ferraro.
Some post-game comments from the Anaheim game. Cody CC says, we have to stick together. It was tough what we're going through. We're working hard. We're just not getting results. We need to get a win. Our compete is there. We just need to tighten up some things. It comes down to little details, and then we can focus on those. We're good enough to win. If the details are there, the offense will come. Warsofsky, everyone's favorite coach, said, we have to compete and be physical, but lazy penalties, us not skating, it's gotten us into trouble the last few games. Will Smith can't take those penalties. He's got to move his feet. I thought he did some good things, but you can't take those calls. And again, I don't think that I don't disagree with anything you said there. For all the anger there. I mean, I think he's coming out and saying the right things. I guess people are looking for more emotion from him, but I don't think that.
Like, what else is he supposed to say? Like,
I think he's supposed to come and I think he's supposed to go to the podium, break it, and go.
You want him to have like a moment where he throws something at the media? Like,
I don't know. I don't know, man.
Anyways.
I'm just. That's what I read. Jesse's saying good money. Mike should reconsider no HL for Will Smith. That's something we'll talk about.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So the next game, the San Jose Sharks go to Los Angeles and they lose by a 3-2 score. Blackwood starts. Interesting stat here. Only the 8th time in 34 years that the Sharks have played back-to-back games in SoCal, which is wild to me. Absolutely wild. Blackwood getting starts in back-to-back game. First time that they've broken the rotation. And again, similar story. 2 for 6 on the power play. They did kill penalties though. They got outshot by a lot. Will Smith out of the lineup for this game.
All right, can we talk about these development days?
Yeah, let's talk about development days.
All right, I get it. The transition between college and the NHL is hard. Like I fully understand that. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's every other game, it feels like. Or if not every other game, every 2 games, it feels like. And like I don't know. It feels weird that we're doing this every single time. At this point, just send him to the A. Like if we're gonna do this, like, and I know it's a whole plan or whatnot. I'm curious to what it actually entails because
it's such a weird thing, right? Like I don't know. I kind of like that Mike Greer's kind of come out and gotten ahead of it instead of just because I think a lot of this happens with a lot of rookies. I think like guys that are super young that are playing NHL games. Like generally speaking, there's games where they're gonna get scratched, right?
Yeah.
So I like the fact that Mike Greer has come out and basically gotten ahead of it and said, look this is what we're doing. It's all part of the plan. Like there's nothing to see here, which I think is a good thing. Cause I think the last thing this team needs right now is more negative distraction. So I think Mike Greer coming out and saying, okay, this is what we're doing. I don't know. I appreciate it, man, from going from the previous regime where, Doug Wilson would come out and talk for 30 minutes and say nothing at all. I appreciate the candor from Mike Greer.
Oh, and Puckeye saying it was 7 out of 9. Okay, to me it just felt like a lot more. That might be because I'm also in Narnia some nights. Anyways, moving on but also the idea to send Will Smith to the NHL, AHL, not NHL, the AHL. Greer did say that's not part of the plan right now.
Right.
But like, would it be the worst thing in the world? Maybe for his confidence, no, but I think
I don't. It's hard, right? I don't know. Let's get through these games and then we'll come back to that.
Yep.
Fair?
Yep. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah. So, obviously, this sucks. This was not a fantastic game. Turnover leads to 1-0 goal. Vogel is on the doorstep and no one can move him. 2-0, and then
it sounds like the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, and then and it basically does the same thing again. The Sharks are down 3-0, and we're talking and then we're kind of like, oh, is this gonna go Winnipeg bad? And I think at this point I went to bed and I watched the third period in the morning or the next day because I was just like, no, we're not.
No, I had a show and came back from my show and it was 3-0, and I was like, okay, well, this is fun. I'm glad I'm not doing that.
Granlund gets us back on the board with 2 power play goals, but it ends 3-2, right? Special teams were better, obviously. I think again the power play is 2 for 6, which is respectable, and the penalty kill, they only took 2 penalties, which is a nice change from some of these other games.
Isn't Granlund on a ridiculous streak right now, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, he's on a tear.
Didn't he assist in almost half the Sharks goals or some shit like that? What was that stat? Puckeye told me about it, but if Granlund's not doing something, the Sharks offense is invisible.
Yeah. No, I think it's 100% fair.
Yeah, sorry, keep going.
No, go ahead.
No, if Granlund isn't doing something, the Sharks offense is actually dormant. Like if I were to calculate the amount of assist or just like helped goals that Granlund has.
Jesse's pulling the stat because
Thank you, Jess. Appreciate you. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know the exact numbers. I read it somewhere and just forgot to remember it. But like, if I were to pull up some of these numbers, it's insanity how much Granlund just like, if he's not on the ice, you may as well go to sleep. Like it's bad.
Post game, Ryan Warsofsky said that on the lack of secondary scoring, he said we need guys to step up. We need a lot of guys to step up and be more consistent night after night, and we're not getting that at all. A lot of passengers, and when one guy's not going, the next night he's not going. Yeah, and that's true, right? And I think this is when he called out Klim Kostin a little bit too, for being a passenger. The Sharks have definitely had an issue with secondary scoring. I think the scoring's been pretty top heavy. I think if you look at the guys who have scored more, the Sharks have 18 goals. Just to hit this stat up here quick, the Sharks have 18 goals. Granlund has been involved in 10 of them.
Yeah, that's just not sustainable for Granny or the Sharks offense. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's just not sustainable. Sorry, but like that's insane.
Yeah. Warsofsky also said that, this is life. We're going to get punched in the face and some adversity, and we got to push through it. This is the best league in the world. And if you don't have joy in playing this game, then you're in the wrong business and you're on the wrong team, and we'll weed those guys right out. So I mean, losing sucks. So I don't know how people are super like, I don't know how happy you're supposed to be at this point, but, and then the game that we covered last night, the San Jose Sharks. I don't spend too much time on this because we did do a whole show on it last night, which you can find right here on this channel. The San Jose Sharks lost to the Vegas Golden Knights 7-3. Vanacek started, and Hertl. And I think this is the first time he's actually faced the Sharks.
Yeah, it is because he was injured last season.
Right. So he put up 2 assists in the 7-3 victory. The power play was not good. They went over 2 in the power play, and the penalty kill was 3 for 4, which is, I think, respectable, but they were outshot again 42-27. I mean, look, this game is this Vegas team is really good, and they're firing on all cylinders right now. And yeah, I mean, like the score shows it, the shots on goal show it. Like
the talent level on those two teams is completely just wonked right now.
Yeah. So, in this game here, for a while the Knights had 3 goals and the Sharks had 3 shots on goal.
Great.
Brutal. A -65 shots on goal differential is the worst by any team in any period this season, which is what the Sharks are in the first period, I believe. Like it's bad.
I don't know what we're supposed to say to that. Like the Sharks are like the Sharks are bad. Like, yeah, no, that's it. We're done with that. Like,
some post-game quotes. Again, we're gonna I don't want to spend too much on this game because we did do a whole show on it yesterday. We have to find a way to weather the storms. We're chasing the game far too much right now. It's been a tough start for us, and I don't want to talk about last season. Last season is in the past. This is new. This is like right out of Warren Warsofsky's playbook. We're moving forward. We're not emotionally good right now, but we're still pros. We'll have to show up tomorrow and be ready to go. But obviously this stings. We have to find a way to gain momentum and hold on to momentum. I'm not on the power play, and I can't say where that went wrong. There's a reason you're on the power play. But we have to find a way to get going. We're not thinking here we go again. We're thinking we need to figure this shit out. Tomorrow is a new day, and we're going to get our first win in Utah. We'll see.
Inspirational. Yeah, if Ferraro's ever quarterbacking the Sharks power play, Jules is not going to survive
Something's
that podcast.
Gone terribly wrong.
Something's gone horribly wrong.
I mean, look at I think that Utah's kind of reeling right now. Obviously, they've got some pretty big injuries on their blue line. I mean that it's a winnable game, but
yeah.
But again, like it's an interesting, it's an interesting thing to come out and say it. It'll be interesting to see if they can come out and back that up. Yeah. Warsofsky said a slow start. They scored early and got us on our heels. They're a big team. They move pucks quickly and obviously a fast and skilled team. I don't think any of us are happy right now. There's a lot of frustration and anger in that locker room right now. We can claw it back at times, but we can't take that next step. Goosh needs to be more competitive. We weren't generating enough, so we made moves. It's embarrassing to set that NHL record. Fair enough. And then Vanacek obviously had his gaff where he came out for whatever reason, and he said, like, you know, it's absolutely my fault and I have to be better, which again, like, I think like it was a really
dumb play.
But again, like it was a mistake. He made a really dumb decision. He wasn't really good in this game either, but again, again, he got peppered with shots. I feel bad for Vanacek, but
and then for everyone saying any help. Yeah, he really didn't that game. That was just a bad game all around. Oh lordy. Don't we love the Sharks?
I don't know. So the Sharks are the first team in history to go they're winless in 9 games back to back. That's fun.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, I think, you know, and special teams are obviously are not helping anything. They started off really good with their penalty kill, and now that's kind of tapered off, which it's going to. I mean, I don't think you can expect your penalty kill to just completely continue to just bail you out of problems again and again and again. Like, I think the amount that they're being asked to do it is not helpful.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. Let's get into heroes and zeros, and then we can talk a little Will Smith.
Oh my God. Do I need to? I don't even. All right. My zero's Ferraro. I mean, okay. I'm sorry. I don't like. I mean, for me, it's kind of more like all season, but this week, even, I don't think he's played great.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think that's. My hero is the San Jose Barracuda.
Wow. That's good. I have AJ's picks here. AJ said that Granlund, obviously, and I agree with this. I think Granlund's been really good. It's kind of hard not to pick him as the hero of the week, despite everything that's gone wrong. And you know what? And I will. No, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's Granlund, right? He scored more 3 games this week. You know. And then obviously his zero was Vanacek for his craziness and thing, and Mike Benning for not being able to get back into this lineup. I think Granlund, like, that would be my hero too. I think he's been one of the few bright spots for the Sharks this week, and what's been a pretty painful fucking week. And I guess, man, my zero. Everyone else, like, I don't know, man. Let me pick on someone specifically here.
Okay, so now watch this player have a monster week next
week. Hope they do.
Yeah, no, me too. Me too, Ian. It's the Ian bump.
The Ian bump. Yeah, right. I don't know, man. There's so many dogs.
There's so many
around.
zeros.
This is the problem, right? Like, there's so many zeros. Like, I look at this blue line, and like, is there a hero on this blue line at all? Maybe Thompson.
Wallman or Thompson?
Wallen,
one of those two. I liked Thompson. For the
everyone else is 100% a zero on this team.
Who else is on this? Like, CC has. I don't know how to feel about Cody CC.
I already said Ruda. Like, I picked on Ruda last week, so I mean, I could just, I could just continue to pick him, and I can't even like get mad at like Luke Cunnin or something. Like, Luke Cunnin scored goals this week.
I
think, but I think, like, it's the decor overall, and maybe Ryan Warsofsky is my hero of the week, because again, like, this Jan Ruda Mario Ferraro pair is terrible, and I feel like every time the Sharks are getting scored on, 90% of the time, that's the pair on the ice.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So maybe Ryan Warsofsky is my zero. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pick on Warsaw. Okay.
So Warsaw, please have a monster week this year. Today
I'm not saying we should fire him, but I'll give him the zero.
Oh, from Puckeye, today's the 2-year anniversary of Erik Karlsson's OT winner to beat Toronto the last time the Sharks won a game in October. Oh lordy,
brutal.
I love this team. I love this team. I love this team. All right.
Here's a curse stat from Jesse. Ferraro and Ruda, the only players to have a
What? No
above zero.
fucking way.
How?
In what world?
Penalty kill? Right? Because that's not a minus because it's penalty.
Are they out when all the goals are being like? Are they out with Granlund?
I mean, the Sharks have allowed a lot of power, like a lot of. They've been kind of burned on things. So if that's the pair, that wouldn't hurt their plus minus.
Yeah. I don't.
That's interesting. That was not what I would have expected going into that. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, that's thanks, Jess. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Appreciate you, buddy.
All right.
Okay. So
let's move on to something happier.
Will Smith. Nope.
Oh no, Ian. All right. Okay. Your opinion. Should they send him down to the A?
Not yet. But the idea that it's not in like that, there's this not going to happen. Like, I think Mike, you're coming out and saying like there's no chance of him going to the A, I think is really short-sighted.
Yeah. Did he, was it like I think he just said it wasn't part of the plan at the moment. I don't know if he fully like disregarded that, but also like, what is he supposed to do? Tell the media before he tells Smith that he's being sent down?
I think you just say all options are on the table.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean,
right?
I would give him 12 games. After 12 games, I'd either send him down or just keep him with, because it's not like the 9-game rule where they have to then like his ELC can slide. Like there's no going back.
Yeah, he can slide. He can 100% slide. If they send him down before he plays his 10th game, his contract.
Oh, he can still slide? Okay, 100%. Yeah. So is this his 10th game on?
He's played 8.
He's played 8. Okay, so he has 2 more games.
So he's played 8 or 7? 7, I think.
7, yeah.
They played 9. I think he's missed 2 games, so that they played. Yeah. So he's played 7 games. I don't know. See, and I don't think like I don't think like the contract slide should come in. Like I don't think they should just be like, okay, slide his contract.
No, and I wasn't even referring to that. I was just saying like he can go back to college, and then that's, you know what I mean.
No, he can't.
Like
go back
there's no option for. It'll be interesting because I think during that Ducks game we saw flashes of what Will Smith can do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw flashes of the insane, just like
there's like, look at, I like Will Smith. I think a lot of people are hitting the panic button a little bit quickly on Will Smith. Obviously I think, like, yeah, obviously you want points, and I think the points are going to come. I think there are parts of his game though that do concern me a little bit. And I just think like, I don't hate the idea. Like I think he would be fine in the AHL.
He would tour it up. But like, I would honestly just rather him play on the wing in the NHL. And I don't get why we haven't tried that.
Yeah.
Put him on the wing with Granlund. Crazy idea, right? Like, put him on the wing with Granlund. Like, develop him like you developed Tomas Hertl. You start him on the wing, and then you slowly move him to center. And like, I said this even before Smith touched the Sharks. Like, it's going to take patience. He's not Macklin Celebrini. Like, he's not just going to come in here and be stellar defensively.
Ow! Sorry, my cat's attacking my foot.
That was so random. Like, he's not going to come in here and be Macklin Celebrini. No, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
his game when his game coming in, like Macklin Celebrini is a more complete game.
Yeah.
Will Smith's game is 100% offense, which we haven't seen enough of yet. I think is fair to say, but at the same time, it's like. So I'm not like if he gets beat defensively, I'm not super upset about it because
that's not his.
We knew what we were getting. That's right. Like we knew what we were getting. Yeah, like I'm not opposed to it. I just think like I wouldn't do it just to slide the contract. I think it's something that the Sharks are obviously would think about, but I don't think that's, I think it's a situation where I think if it gets to the point where I think sometimes you just need a reset, and the AHL is a good place to get that.
Yeah, or just you need a goal to go in.
Yeah. And well, that's what I mean by a reset, right? Like
you need the goal.
At some point, you might need a reset, and I think the cat, the shark. Sorry, I have like teeth and claws in my foot, and it's not very comfortable. Yeah, and I just think like if he gets to the point where you think he needs a reset, then like that might be the best. Like I'm not saying they should send him there right now. But
you heard it here, folks.
It should be on the table.
Yeah, no, it 100% should. I'd rather them just try him on the wing for one game. Like, you know what I mean? Because because I think you were the one who talked about it. Like, I don't think either of us are necessarily convinced he's a full-time centerman in the NHL. I know they're trying to develop him as one.
Sure.
But like, I'm not convinced he's gonna be a center. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Anyways,
all right. Let's
Joe Pavelski attacking Ian.
Let's talk about something way better.
Is it called the San Jose Barracuda?
Ooh, Barracuda!
Yes, it is definitely the San Jose Cuda, who are currently 5-1-0. They are currently second in the Pacific Division behind Calgary Wranglers, who have, I believe, 14 points.
Yeah.
Who they've been really good. They played a pair of games against Henderson. The first game was a 5-2 victory against again the Henderson Silver Knights. Luca Cagnoni scores twice. Collin Graf has 3 assists.
It's like leading the AHL. He has ridiculous. Graf is on a rampage right now.
He is. And in 5-game play, Cagnoni has more points than the entire San Jose decor.
I think he might have more points than a lot of the off forwards too, but
yes, Askarov is now he's 4-0-0 in the season. He was 3-0-0 in the season after this game, and again, just really good.
Askarov is amazing.
It's definitely, like, I think it helps this team play with a lot more confidence in front of him, because I think he does a good job of the things that I like about Askarov. Is I find he does a really good job of controlling rebounds and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so I find, like, where I think I like Georgi Romanov, and I don't want to like turn this into a bash Georgi Romanov, but I think that's more of a weakness in his game, is controlling rebounds and putting them in good places. I think there's a lot of situations where Georgi will put pucks in places that you just don't want to go, and sometimes the defense isn't there to clean it up. So I think that's the thing I like about Askarov. Some of his positioning, it makes me shake my head, but I mean, he's great, right?
He's a scrambly goaltender. Like, he's a little bit of chaos in net, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think I know they just played Wolstead, but Wolstead feels like a little bit more calmer. I know he got lit up by the Cuda, but a lot of goalies right now are getting lit up by the Cuda team. So Wolstead's a little bit more calmer in my, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's calmer in net, but like Askarov's a little bit more of like chaos, but like good chaos, like not the chaos where you're like Vitek Vanacek 300 feet away from the, you know what I mean? Like from the goal on a PK or on a power play, my bad. I mean, this Cuda team's good. Like, and I think I said this last night, they can only get better until Askarov gets called up. And now
until people start, unless people start getting called up.
But like, they have Bordeleau, they're probably getting Mukhamadullin. Who knows, they might get Will Smith.
Mm-hmm. Could you imagine?
Imagine Will Smith joining this team with Podorowski, who's been I loved that addition. You have Justin Schultz, who's been a savior on the blue line.
Mm-hmm.
You have Jake Furlong, who, in my opinion, is the most underrated prospect in the Sharks prospect pool. Like, how many plays is Jake Furlong making? You're like, oof, Maron.
Yeah, and you know, the thing about this Barracuda team, that it's not just the big guys scoring all the goals, right? I think that's the one thing I like with Barracuda. This fourth line has been just stupid good.
It's ridiculous. It's for those of you who don't watch the Cuda as much, it's Donovan Houle, who I believe was a college free agent signing. Anthony Vincent, who I think was also another free agent signing. If I'm wrong, someone yell at me in the chat. And who's the other guy? And then, oh my God, Lucas Van Royboys, who is another college free agent signing. Like, that fourth line is on fire. Like, they know their role on this team. Forecheck, hit, fight, and score. And no specific, the scoring is their last priority, but they're like scoring at bunches right now.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that really, like, the thing about this Barracuda team is like the balance of the attack. And I think as long as that keeps up, like, this team is going to be hard to beat. And you know, Shakir Mukhamadullin was assigned at the same time as Thomas Bordeleau. Thomas Bordeleau has run into a game so far. Shakir Mukhamadullin hasn't, but I assume that's going to change this coming week, because I feel like they wouldn't have assigned him if he wasn't close enough to being ready to go. They wouldn't have signed him to the Barracuda. So it's going to be, I'm really fascinated to see how that turns out, because I think, again, like,
Can we also
this
give
seems a
some
lot of fun.
flowers to Philip Beestead and Collin?
Philip Beast, I think, is like, Philip Beast has been my guy this year. I think he's quietly been one of their best players. I think if you look at like the point totals, the points are there too for Beestead, but yeah, I think his game's a lot more quiet than some of the more flashier
Like
scores.
compared to
And
like
then
Luca Cagnoni, for example, who's a lot
right,
he's
like I
also a
think
defenseman,
there's
but like
a lot of guys stealing his thunder, but I think the Philip Beestead's been great. The other guy too, who if Philip Beestead, and this, the thing that's scary is like Ethan Cardwell has 1 goal so far.
Mm-hmm. Like, you see what I mean? They can only get better. And if you add Bordelot, Smith, who, again, I'm not saying Smith should get sent down. I'm just saying if he is, and Askarov still a net for them, he's being sent to an amazing situation. And I know JMac, whatever.
Mhm.
But until they start falling off a cliff, I'm not going to go cutting off JMac's head right now. Like, he's like, they can only get better. And Cardwell has arguably had his best game last night. And he's going to get better. And he made a ridiculous play that other night with that empty net and him just like battling,
just outworking, right? And
outworking everyone.
For anyone who doesn't know what Jules is talking about, because you weren't able to watch, I did put a thing on if you go onto my timeline on Twitter, I have a thing of it, and I kind of just basically said, like, this is why I love Ethan Cardwell, because Ethan Cardwell, again, I don't think, like, I don't know if he comes up to the NHL, I don't know what that offense is going to translate to, but he has all the other tools in his game that I think he's going to be, once he gets to the NHL, he's never going back. He's going to be a good, he's not going to be like this prolific scorer in the NHL.
No, but he's going to be that perfect, like, energy third liner.
Yeah, he's going to be, you're right. And I think, like, he's a guy who I think once he finally breaks through, like, he's never going back to the AHL. He's going to be good forever.
Does Philip Beestead reach his ceiling as a 2C? Because with me, Beestead was always like, he's probably hitting his floor as a 3C, but can he take the next step to hit that 2C? Because honestly, to me, he's slowly flown under the radar because I think
he's been one of their best. Like, I think he's been one of their best players. I can't sing enough praises about Philip Beestead's game. I don't know. It's
that's
hard,
a dumb
right?
question,
because,
I know, but I'm just curious.
Well, it's just hard, just based on like what little sample size we have of games. But like, I mean, so far, I think, again, I don't think Beestead's going to come up to the NHL and be this prolific scorer, right? And I know people get super upset that because they're like, oh, he was a first-round pick, but he was a late first-round pick.
He was, what, 27th?
Something
in
like
a draft that was arguably not good, great, in my opinion.
Right. And it's like, oh, but that was a first-round pick. He needs to be way better than that. But like, again, it's a late first-round pick. I don't know if there's a second-line center in Philip Beestead, but I think there could be a really good third-line center there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I wanted to address something. Oh, speaking of, the Cuda can also get better. They don't have Lucas Carlson right now, who was there on him and Jimmy Schott were their 2 big signings on the blue line. So on the blue line, they can add Shakir Mukhamadullin and Lucas Carlson, who was an AHL All-Star. Shakir Mukhamadullin, who was an AHL All-Star from last year. Oh, and they can also get Gushin back. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's a Calder contending team right there. Like, you can't tell me otherwise.
It could be, yeah. Burge asking who gets called up from the Cuda to the Sharks this year. It seems better to keep their players down in the NHL. I agree. Like, I think if the Barracuda continue to be a wagon, that's probably a better situation for guys to be in than coming up to get smashed on this god awful team.
Like, have them go win a Calder Cup. Like, send everyone down as much as you can and have them go actually play meaningful playoff games and learn playoff hockey. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think, obviously, Askarov, I think, is going to get NHL games this year. I think it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. He's going to get NHL games. And I'm curious to see what this team looks like without him, because then your goaltending tandem becomes probably Arundel would get the call up from Wichita. And then, so it'd be Arundel and Georgi Romanov. Both guys who I think are completely serviceable. But I just wonder how good this team is without Askarov.
I wonder if they also have the confidence to make some of the plays they do. You know,
And another guy I think could get called up, but I think Askarov's like the obvious one. I think Ethan Cardwell's going to get games.
For 100%. That guy plays has more compete than some of the Sharks do right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's exactly why. It's not just because I think he's going to come in and like light the world on fire, but I think he could come in and outwork some of your guys in your bottom six that are currently playing in the NHL.
100%. Like that guy, if you watch a Cuda game, you watch 56. Like he's an absolute menace out there. We haven't talked about this guy yet, and I do want to talk about him because I don't know how we've not talked about him. Luca Cagnoni.
Well, he's great.
He's amazing. I mean, sorry, I just want to give him a shout out because we literally have not mentioned him. Luca Cagnoni is exceeding expectations in my opinion.
I think so too. And like it's a really good start. The thing that I always get worried about with guys like that is that I do want to see what happens when the wall comes, because the wall always comes for these kids. And I kind of want to see what happens when the wall comes.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see, like, and it'll be interesting to see for the Cuda too, because I think he's obviously, the thing with him and Casper Halttunen are two players that can be sent back down to their junior team. Basically, as long as they're back down before their junior team's trade deadline, they can play in the playoffs for their junior team. So it's going to be fascinating to see. Again, like, I think he's off to a great start. I would not send him back. I think he's perfectly fine playing pro hockey. I think that for Casper Halttunen as well, who unfortunately did get hurt. And I do get concerned when a guy gets hurt like that sometimes they get healthy and
they're just not back to their
and then they just kind of get sent back to junior. So I'm kind of curious to see like what they do with those guys, but there is that they do have that option. I think that Cagnoni right now is obviously playing like he does not want to go back to junior hockey. So we'll see him. Racist Fan Rocks asks a great question. Could Celebrini go to the AHL for the playoffs? He could. All they have to do is at the NHL trade deadline, they would have to basically do what's called they'd have to basically send him down, so that they'd have to do a paper transaction to send him down to the Barracuda at the trade deadline. And as long as that is done, then he would be eligible for the AHL playoffs.
I'm sorry.
So you'll see a lot of guys you'll see a lot of at the trade deadline. I mean, it's way out there, but you'll see a lot of probably paper transactions for guys, especially if guys like Gushin and some of these other guys stay up. I think you'll see paper transactions so that they can go play AHL hockey.
I'm sorry. Can we take a minute to talk about if the San Jose Barracuda in the playoffs have Celebrini, Smith, Bordeleau, Gushin, Cardwell, Beested? Your center depth is Celebrini, Portorowski, Beested, Robbins.
Yeah, just dumb, right?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think for the Barracuda, I did mention that obviously Casper Halttunen is hurt. I don't know the extent of that. But what else is? I think Tristan Robbins is a little banged up too. So I think, but that's as far as everything that's good going on with the Barracuda. That's the only downsides right now. Henderson, they played Henderson twice. Obviously, the second game, which we didn't talk about, was the afternoon game, which was very upsetting for me because I was at work. A 5-3 victory. Askarov made another 29 saves. He is now undefeated, obviously. Cardwell has a goal and 2 assists, +4. Podorowski, Schultz, Vincent, all score again. Talking about that fourth line that has been just insanely good. Collin Graf continues to pile up the points. There's another guy. Collin Graf's another guy who I think has quietly been really like, there's definitely things in his game that I think he needs to work on. Like, I think he needs to make decisions quicker with the puck. But I mean, if you want to talk, he's probably would be my hero, because I think he's, again, like kind of like Beested, a little just bit
under the radar,
unheralded, under the radar, but just piling up assists, right? Like setting up points. He's been really good. I think Collin Graf's another guy who could probably get a call up at some point. Yeah,
for sure.
And at least when this was written, he was tied for the AHL lead with 9 points. So
as a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, good stuff, right? This week the Barracuda will host the Coachella.
That's going to be a good test.
Coachella
Valley.
Coachella Valley, Coachella Valley Firebirds on Wednesday,
Oh, God.
and then they will go to Iowa. They'll go to Ottawa and play the Senators. I'm doing amazing.
You're doing great.
They will go to Iowa, and they will be playing the Wild over the weekend. They opened the season, obviously, and outscored them by a combined 12-3 with Volstead net both games. So it'll be interesting to see. How the Iowa Wild respond to that loss at home.
Yeah. Again, I think Coachella is going to be a real test for them. So if they beat Coachella, watch out. Because last year we all know what happened with Coachella Valley.
Yeah. So yeah, and again, if you're looking for information on the Barracuda, you can, if you happen to be on the Twitter machine, you can follow me. You can follow Jules. You could also follow Kevin Lacey. Our Twitter handles are on the screen, and if you're not, I am at Ian Blogs Hockey. Sharks is at Sharks_Jules, and Kevin Lacey is at Kevin Lacey 22.
Yeah, follow us. I'm sure one of us will talk about the Cuda. If not, if you want like general prospect updates, Dickinson has been on an absolute heater. So
on a roll.
Roll.
That's true too. Yeah,
Dickinson, and then Carson Wetch also has started on a hot streak. Leo Saline Wallenius had a really good night. Sharks have a lot of good young guys. They just gotta start developing them. And Igor Chernyshov, I believe, is now in Saginaw. So I don't know when he's coming back, but I saw that has arrived. Yeah.
Ricky's saying, I don't think so. We're going to be shipping dudes out at the deadline. The Cuda are going to lose guys and not gain them. But I think if they are in the playoffs, like eventually the Sharks are going to run out of games and then guys can go back and play in the playoffs. So I think that there's obviously going to be guys that are going to be coming up to the team as the team ships them out, even though I've been told by very smart hockey people the Sharks can't do nothing because they have no retention spots.
Well, yeah, no, because when you have 3 retention spots, you
can't make trades.
Yeah, you're banned from making trades for that whole year. So the minute you hit 3 retention spots, you are banned. You are banned from making trades. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah. The other thing, it's not in the notes here, but Mike Greer also addressed the Quinton Musty situation.
Yeah, forgot about that.
So Mike Greer kind of said that he said he's talked to Musty's agent and he's kind of hoping that there should be a resolution there soon. Quinton Musty obviously is a guy who probably wants to play in the World Junior. Yeah. And so I think that him not playing is really hurting because he's not a shoo-in. Like I like Quinton Musty a lot, but I don't think he is a shoo-in for that USA team.
Depends which direct. Yeah, no, he's not a shoo-in.
No, he's not. He's not a shoo-in because one, he plays in the wrong league, and two, I think there's other guys. Yeah, there's other guys that can kind of bring what he brings. So him not playing so far, I think, is obviously not helping his case at all.
Gert came out and was super frustrated about that. The Sharks are gonna try to intervene there. Basically, Musty requested a trade out of Sudbury.
Yeah. And basically I don't know the why. I've done a ton of digging to try and figure out what the why is, and I have not been able to sort that out. But obviously it's not good. You want your guy to be playing. I could come up with reasons I think he had wanted a Sudbury, but I don't think that's helpful. It's just it's speculation.
Yeah. But I mean, I appreciate the Sharks actually trying to intervene now and try to figure out so Musty can get playing time, because he's not going to develop just by, sitting around doing nothing. I'm not saying he's doing that, but he needs games. He needs to play. But yeah. The kids are coming, and soon.
The kids are coming. So coming up for the Sharks this week, they will play in Utah. They will host the Kings, Chicago, and Vancouver. And of course, you can check out After Dark after every one of those games right here on the channel.
We have a special guest tomorrow.
Oh, special guest. There you go. Tune in for that. Anything else? I feel like we've kind of hit everything.
Yeah. No, we have a special guest coming tomorrow. Oh, who do you think the Sharks get their first win this week? And against who?
I think Utah and Chicago are both winnable games.
So naturally, they'll
they-
win against Vancouver.
So yeah, so they'll crush Vancouver. I don't know, man. Like, there's like you think they're winnable games, but at the same point, like there's just nothing. Like everything seems to be going so wrong with this team right now that I don't know what's going to pull them out of this death spiral. Like nothing in their play over the past week has been super inspiring.
You're not wrong. If you had to pick one, though, who are you picking and what's the score? I'm putting Ian on the spot.
Oh man, I don't know.
My
I
bet
guess
is
I'm gonna go. You're gonna go Vancouver.
It's 4-3. They're gonna win 4-3 against Vancouver. I'm calling it.
Let me look at their schedule here. Let me pick a game. Pick a game, any game.
My bet is Vancouver. They're gonna somehow.
Your bet is Vancouver.
4-3. You heard it here, folks.
Oh, they don't play my birthday, so that's not the game. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give. I'm. You know what? Mario Ferraro has frustrated me a lot, but I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I think that maybe they beat Utah. Look, Utah's kind of reeling right now.
They are. They're spiraling a bit.
They're in a little bit of a spiral, so that's like kind of the perfect spot to come in. And I'm gonna do Utah, man. And I'll be wrong. So you're right. You're probably right, Vancouver, because it's the Sharks. Then we are in no-win November. October will be over.
Yeah.
We'll be in no-win November. That'll be a thing that happens. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, no, stick around to see if the Sharks ever win a game in October ever again.
The Sharks may never win again.
The Sharks may never win again, and this podcast will start doing Tankathon in about 2 months. So stay tuned, peeps.
Tomorrow.
Sharks get altitude sickness in Salt Lake City. Oh my god.
Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed this.
I know you guys missed AJ.
Yeah. Not AJ. It's a weird probably to have Pucknologists and not have AJ or Jerk here.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that was weird for people. I hope that we filled in adequately. And again, we do this Pucknologists is every Sunday at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern time.
Yep.
I don't, you know what? I have some stuff in here, but it's like it's AJ's stuff, man. So I'm gonna let AJ cover it next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than you know what? I know I haven't ranted yet enough this year, but it's hard it's hard to manufacture anger over expected nonsense. Like it hasn't gotten to the point where I can get really angry because none of this is unexpected for me.
Yeah, like yeah, same. I mean, there's stuff to be mad about, but it's like kind of stuff I expected to happen. Now
Sharks are a perfect TV. Utah back on track.
Okay.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong, but also let's not, because I genuinely feel bad for Puck Guy if that happens.
All right. So again, make sure you tune in after every game for our After Dark show, which has a wide variety of people that come and do it. You never know who you're going to get. That's the best part of After Dark. And obviously, again, we will be back next Sunday, same bat time, same bat channel. You can always find us on at Tooltown USA on the Twitter machine. You can find us on all the social media platforms. We are at TailtownUSA.com. Again, anytime you would like to support us, you can at Venmo, you can hit the thanks button on the YouTube channel, or you can, again, super chat. All that stuff helps keep the light on and helps keep us commercial free so that we can keep bringing this content to you without slamming on the brakes to give you an ad read.
Talk about Manscaped or shaving your balls.
Well, it could happen.
Yeah, no, it could happen. So please, like, subscribe, and you know the drill.
Yeah, and again, if you're not catching us live, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section of the YouTube below. All that stuff helps us, and it doesn't cost you a thing. So until next week. You're not wrong. So until then, thank you for watching Pucknologists, and we will see you on the next show. Good night.